information about today's presentation in advance, so we'll be ready to dive right in to hear your presentation, and then if we have time for questions after, we'll do that.
Okay. Shall I begin? Okay. Hi, I'm John Dorge. I'm here on behalf of the Pencil Foundation. I am representing Angie Adams, who is the CEO and who had a commitment this week and is out of town, and asked me to attend in her place. I've been a volunteer with the Pencil organization for 23 years. I'm a current board member and past board chair. I work for Deloitte. That's my full-time job. And in that role, I do manage our Pencil partnership with Warner Elementary, Antioch High School, McGavock High School, and McGavock High School, and Overton High School. So I am very engaged in that area. Pencil is a nationally respected nonprofit that has been linking community resources to metro schools for 37 years. Pencil currently has over 650 partners impacting students and teachers every day. These businesses, faith-based organizations, and community groups log over 54,000 volunteer hours each year, which is a part of a $4 million community investment that Pencil Help makes in our schools each year. I'd like to focus on 3 areas of Pencil's outreach. The first is the Pencil Box. It is a free supply store, school supply store for teachers. Last year, the box provided over $1.3 million in supplies to schools and students. These supplies consisted of crayons and glue sticks, toothbrushes, backpacks, over 200,000 number 2 pencils, and other supplies. Last year, 4,000 MMPS teachers took advantage of the store to stock their classroom with needed supplies. These supplies are made possible by donations and contributions by Pencil supporters. The second area I want to focus on are the academy partnerships. For the last 10 plus years, Pencil has managed the business engagement in our 39 career academies that are 12-zoned high schools. This has involved in recruiting business partners, onboarding business partners, relationship management between the school and the business partners, celebrating those partnerships, and in a few cases, offboarding those partnerships that aren't working. Each year, these partnerships result in over 9,000 engagement opportunities for our students. These are everything from job shadow days to field trips, classroom speakers, and other engagement opportunities. Another area that Pencil is involved is our school-based family resource centers. The FRCs have an important role in leveraging community partnerships to support and empower MMPS students and their families. In the 6 family resource centers, they serve as a hub for nonprofits and community organizations that provide services directly to students. Here in these spaces, students are able to connect with services that meet their social, emotional, and learning needs and physical needs. The FRCs also stock emergency supplies and food and clothing and other items. Each center is unique, and it caters to the needs of that specific school and that specific population. These outreach efforts directly and indirectly impact all of our students, or all of our 167 schools. And though all students have the opportunity to benefit from Pencil services, it is our more at-risk students that potentially have the greatest benefit from Pencil. If a student doesn't have a pencil or a notebook, they can't learn. If a student doesn't have clean clothes or a toothbrush, they're unlikely to fully engage with other students. If a student doesn't have the opportunity to leave the school and go visit a workplace, it's hard for them to imagine themselves working in that space. It's hard for them to dream of a future that includes the opportunities that those kind of jobs would provide. Pencil's requesting $150,000 in funding for Metro. These additional dollars will help Pencil not only continue our work, but also expand the outreach of our to students and teachers. Here are 2 examples. With the family resources, over the past years, United Way has provided a certain amount of the funding for the for the FRCs. They've chosen to discontinue that funding and move those dollars into another direction. This funding would help ensure that Pencil is able to keep the family resources going and to continue to serve students in those schools. The other area is the LP Pencil Box. Today, most of the teachers pick up their supplies by going to the box and doing what we call a shopping day. But we know Nashville, and it's not always easy to get around town, and not all of our teachers have the time or the resources to come all the way to the Pencil Box to pick up their supplies. And so this can be a hindrance to some teachers being able to get needed supplies for their schools. At the same time, Nissan has donated a supply van that we could use to deliver the supplies, but we don't have the staff to dedicate to driving that. These dollars would pay for part of a position that would be, whose primary focus would be a van driver that would help deliver supplies. So we could move to a model where teachers can order their supplies online and they're delivered directly to their schools, dramatically increasing the number of teachers that are impacted and the number of students that will receive school supplies. These are just two examples of how these dollars will impact pencils, teachers, and students. Our proposal provides a more in-depth overview of the services that we provide and how these requested dollars will impact our organization. Public schools are the pathway to prosperity, and a great education for all of our children is a benefit to everyone that lives in Nashville. We firmly believe that including pencil in the 2020 direct appropriation funding would yield tangible results for our community, our schools, and our students. Thank you.
How much money are you losing from the United Way?
We will lose around $150,000, but we're not looking for this to be a replacement. We will do fundraising to make up that, but obviously this would help fill part of that gap. And this has been, I don't want to make it sound like United Way is just walking away. This has been a long-time conversation, and they've chosen to direct their resources in another direction.
Okay.
What's your annual operating budget?
Sorry.
No.
I looked at everything but that.
And if you need to get back to us, you can.
I'm sorry, it's in here, but yeah, I won't take your
That's,
time. I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. No worries.
If I was CEO, I'd know it.
So, I mean, I think that the primary purpose of pencil is, I mean, I understand that teachers generally spend a lot of their own money on supplies, so this fills that need directly. You mentioned something about, was it technical education exams, or was it some other type of program that's working directly with students? It was in there somewhere. I think I already forgot it.
Academies.
The academies?
To the academies, yeah. We're talking about the partnerships that Pencil oversees. Those partners are involved in helping advise teachers on what the current trends are. For example, even though we're a financial services company, we're an IT hub for the firm. So we work with the 3 IT academies as Pencil partners to advise them on what are the trends in the business, what kind of certifications should their students be receiving to increase their likelihood of being employed in our industry.
How many teachers received supplies last year?
There were over 4,000, just over 4,000 teachers. Some of those supplies were delivered directly to schools. As I said, it's hard for us to manage that. So most of those teachers would come on what we call shopping days, which are after hours in the summer or on Saturdays. And obviously it's harder to get around Nashville, and not all teachers are able to come in person and pick up their supplies.
Yeah.
Do you know about how many staff Pencil has? It's okay if not.
I think it's 14, but I don't want to say exactly.
No worries.
There's 6 staff dedicated to the Family Resource Centers. There are 4 staff dedicated to managing the programs, the partnerships, and there are 2 staff members at the Pencil Box, and then I think 3 or 4 administrative positions, or executive administrative positions.
This would be just for the listening audience who might not be familiar with you. Would you just tell them about the Family Resource Centers and
Right.
what they do? I think that would be helpful.
Now, the Family Resource Centers are modeled after the community Family Resource Centers, which are a hub for nonprofits. It is a space where a family or an individual can come and receive a variety of services. So a student's family can come in and they can get connected to Second Harvest Food Bank for food. They can get connected with services that maybe will address their housing needs. They can connect them with services that will provide language skills. It can be a wide variety of services. The services that are actually at that school are dependent on that population. So it may be around language, it may be around food, it may be around clothing, but they cater to that. But each center would have the opportunity to redirect a student or family to a service, even if it wasn't provided directly with
I just
that
really
center.
think that's important work, and people need to know about it.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all I've got.
We're good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
How many days of this do you have?